If you've got a Makita charger like this one, and you'd like to utilize some of your under shelf space and mount this underneath your shelf, you can make some fixtures up to do that. So what I'm talking about is mounting it, well, I got it backwards here, mounting it something like this underneath a shelf so that you can utilize that space instead of bench space to put these chargers on. You can make a fixture that will do it, and we're going to go over what's involved in making those fixtures. So you will need some 5/16 drill rod, and as you can see right now I have some set up in the saw here, and this distance from the stop to the blade is just a teensy bit over 850 thousandths, because we're going to face off both ends to make things nice and square. We're going to have to make 4 pieces that length. That's why I've got the stop set up to make it easy to do that. Now we're going to face these off in the lathe on both ends. Our aim is to have these about 850 thousandths long when we're done. Now we're going to take our 4 pieces and center drill them at one end, and then we're going to take a 17/64 drill and drill in for a depth of 780 thousandths. Now we're ready to drill 780 thousandths deep, and we have our part center drilled here, and we're going to move the drill in a 17/64 drill until it seats in there. And then I have this little setup here, got a video on this somewhere, but I can set that back here. Actually, there we go, and turn that on and zero that, and we're going to go 780 thousandths deep on the drill. Okay, I think we're pretty close. I'm going to check that out with the vernier, and we're looking for the edge of the cutting surface in the drill. In other words, we're going to force over to one side so we don't go right into the point of the drill. And see where we are here. We're looking for 780, and we are 779.5, plus or minus 10. That's nothing. That's really good. So all we have to do now is 3 more of those, and we're halfway done. Not quite halfway done, sorry about that. We've got a number 20 drilled here. That's I think about 61 thousandths, and we're going to drill a hole all the way through the rest of this using this drill. And I just put that in the chuck and lock that up. A little bit of oil on the end of there. Through. Now 3 more of these and we'll be finished. Halfway. And once you got those pins made, you're going to need some 1/4 by 3/4 stock, and we're going to cut those off in the saw at 1 inch 400 thousandths, and we're set up here with our stop to cut 4 of those off. Now we're going to take those 4 pieces of stock that we just cut, and in this end we're going to put a 5/16 hole, and that has to be on size. So maybe drill it first with a smaller drill and then run your 5/16 through. We don't want to be too much bigger than 5/16, that's for sure, because we're going to do a little bit of a press fit on there. This one is 3/16, and it's got a 45-degree chamfer on top of it. And the position of these holes is not fussy. Just leave a little tiny bit of meat at this end, and the other end even less fussy, just somewhere near the end like what you're looking at there. I'm using an arbor press to press these pins in, but if you don't have an arbor press, you could use a hydraulic press or even a vise. They go in pretty easy. And that's pressed in like that. We have the larger end here, and on the opposite side to the larger open end, we have the screw hole here, the 3/16 hole. So here's the underside of your Makita charger. You'll see the 4 rubber plugs, and that's all they are. This one's already partially pulled out. And inside this hole, you will find a screw like this with a Phillips head. Take that screw out. Then you'll be able to take one of the fixture pieces that you've made and drop it into the hole. And drop the screw in here. Tighten the screw up. And your wood screws are going to come through from the underside of here into the underside of your shelf. So let's get that mounted and take a look at it. So here we have it mounted underneath the shelf. I do have to reroute this wire so it'll be out of the way. And it's plugged in right down here. And in order to charge a battery, just slide it in and you're good to go. Now, the only disadvantage to this is you have to bend down and look underneath to see the status of the battery. If you didn't want to do that, and I just might come up with something here, if you had a mirror or even a piece of shiny stainless like this, you could probably put it behind here, and you can see that red light glowing right now. So that would be a nice way to be able to tell from a distance if your battery is charged or not. I've decided to move the charger over just a little bit because it's closer to another plug that I'd rather use. And I decided that these little things that came out of the holes here probably would fit into here like that. And then I could just take a piece of tape and cover the hole up. Hard to do with one hand. Got the camera in the other one. But they'll be in there now, and it's only a couple of minutes. You could swap out all of these and put the rubber feet back on, and they would be stored in here. And I think probably there's room in this opening to do the same thing if you took these out to put them inside there and store them while you were using it with the rubber feet on. Well, I found myself a little mirror, mounted it on a piece of sheet metal, put a little bit of an angle on that so it tilts slightly upwards, and you can see that flashing in there right now. And when I add the battery, you can see that it's now charging.